Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today. I'm going to be doing something new. I will be recapping Misfits 01. Because the Misfits Prime card is coming up, so I decided to recap it. So what I will do is talk about the fights, then I will be doing some ranking for the fights and fighters, and I will be telling you the fights that got called off. I will start off with that. Let's get into it. This was the original card before pullouts. There were 3 card changes. I will also predict on who I would think would win. The changes were, well, KSI vs. Alex Wasabi was going to be the main event. But Alex Wasabi had to pull out because of a concussion. But for me, who would win? I got KSI. Then we had KSI vs. Ivan Nikolov. Ivan Nikolov had to get pull out because of his racist tattoos and his racist past. I think KSI would have won that. Then we have Face Temper vs. Blueface. Blueface got pulled out because he decided to beat up his girlfriend instead. For me, I think Face Temper would have won that. This was the new card, and it did go through. So let's get to what fight we're on this card we had. We started off with KSI vs. Swarms. It was a 3-round fight, and KSI basically dominated Swarms. Then we had Dean the Great vs. Evil Hero. Evil Hero had experience and Dean had experience on the streets. It was a 3-round fight and Dean won well against Evil Hero. The next one we have is Sam Hyde vs. I Am Thompson. This was a 3-round fight and did go to the distance, and Sam Hyde was victorious of the night. The next fight was Salt Pappy vs. Andy Varsky. It was a 3-round fight and Salt Pappy knocked the fuck out of Andy Varsky in the first 30 seconds of the first round. Then we had the power fight King Kenny vs. FaZe Sensei. It was a 4-round fight and went the distance. King Kenny was the man of the night. Then we had the sensational fight Deji vs. Fauci. It was a 4-round fight and Deji thankfully took the win, but he pieced up Fauci so well. Though we had the co-main event Slim vs. Face Temper. And this was a 4-round fight and Slim, who was the underdog of the fight, knocked out Face Temper in a brutal fashion. Then the main event KSI vs. Luis Alcaraz Pineda. This was a 3-round fight and KSI's second fight in one night, which is still insane to say, and was the only influencer to fight a pro before Jake Paul did. Okay, so now we know what happened with each fight. It's time for the rankings. We have 2 rankings in one video. We start off with the fights ranked. Number 8 is KSI vs. Luis Alcaraz Pineda. For me, this fight was good, but Pineda just complained the entire fight for Xi hitting behind the head, which was false. He just didn't want it. But overall it was still a good fight, but with issues for me. Number 7, Sam Hyde vs. I Am Thompson. I really liked this fight even though it's low on the list. I still enjoyed watching the massive heavyweight battling. I glued the entire fight. Number 6 is Dean the Great vs. Evil Hero. This fight was very good, seeing Dean the Great just dominate. The fight was amazing, from him being on street fighting to now fighting in front of thousands of people. Number 5 for me is Salt Pappy vs. Andy Varsky. The reason why it's so low on the list is because Salt Pappy literally knocked out Andy Varsky in the first 30 seconds of the first round, which is still insane to see. So yeah, that is really why. But for what I got, it's better than the other because of the fantastic knockout. Number 4 for me is KSI vs. Swarms. I like this fight. Swarms did way better than Pineda, which is kind of funny, but I really enjoyed this fight, and was also KSI's first fight since 2019, so it was exciting to see him back. Number 3 is Face Temper vs. Slim. And this fight was so entertaining. Slim was the underdog of the fight and proved everyone wrong, and knocked out Face Temper in round 2, which is still just insane. But Face Temper did very good because he still got up from the scary knockdown. Number 2 for me is Deji vs. Fauci. This fight was amazing because Deji finally got a win, which was so awesome to see. But I was surprised on how Fauci dealt with the fight. He did very good. Number 1 is King Kenny vs. FaZe Sensei. I think this fight was really entertaining and a very technical fight. I think both of them put a war on display, and I just really enjoyed my time with this fight. Now we are going to rank all the fighters that fought. So let's get into it. Number 15 for me is Andy Varsky, who fought Salt Pappy. Now There is really nothing to say about Andy because he literally got knocked out in the first 30 seconds of the first round. And was also his first fight, so I really got nothing for him except for him taking the fight. Number 14 is Luis Alcaraz Pineda. He fought KSI. And for me, Pineda did throw some good punches. But all he did was just complain for Xi hitting him on the back of the head, which was false. So it was just getting a little annoying. Number 13 for me is Evil Hero. He fought Dean the Great, and Evil Hero did throw some good punches but did lose to Dean, and for me, I would put him low on the list. He still threw some good punches. It was just not his night and did fight a little badly than usual. Number 12 for me is Swarms. Now Swarms did at least stay in with KSI for like 6 minutes, which is really good for someone overweight, and is their first fight. He did pretty well, but did get knocked down a bunch of time during the fight and did throw a lot of windmills. Number 11 for me is Ian Thompson. I think he did a good job to put on a decent fight with Sam Hyde but did lose to Sam Hyde. But like I said, he did do a good job and did throw some good punches throughout the fight, and he also stepped in the ring, which I have to give props to. Number 10 for me is Fauci. I think Fauci had a lot of heart throughout the fight and did give Deji a good fight, but also did get pieced up by Deji as well. And I have to give respect to him for losing the weight for the fight with Deji. Number 9 for me is Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde did very good during the fight and threw a lot of hammers, which on looks very powerful. I mean, he was a heavyweight and he looked very good and looked like an actual boxer during the fight, and also did win his fight. Number 8 for me is FaZe Temper. I think FaZe Temper did very good because when he did fight Slim, when both of them had like 2 weeks to train for each other, because FaZe Temper was supposed to fight Blueface. Anyway, I think FaZe Temper did very good with the punches thrown, but he did get knocked out very easily by Slim. Number 7 for me is Deji. He fought Fauci and put on an absolutely fantastic showing of boxing skills and was his first win, which was very nice to see, and I think Deji just changed rapidly compared to his last fights, and he did piece up Fauci so well. Number 6 for me is King Kenny. I think Kenny did an incredible job with fighting FaZe Sensei, but I did think FaZe Sensei won that fight. Even though Kenny did win, it was a controversial win. But I was just surprised by how good Kenny just changed from fighting Temper to Sensei. Number 5 for me is Dean the Great. I think Dean the Great job for his first fight and really showed what he was made of. He just obliterated Evil Hero, but the way he pieced him up was beautiful. It was also his first fight in front of thousands of people, and Evil Hero already had like 2 fights. Number 4 for me is FaZe Sensei. I think FaZe Sensei did an incredible job against King Kenny, and he did rock Kenny in like the first minute of round 1, which was insane to watch. FaZe Sensei threw a lot of power punches and he did fight very technical, which I just loved watching. Number 3 for me is KSI. The reason why I didn't put him number 1 is because for me, I think he didn't show off all what he had because he was fighting people who weren't that great at the time. But him fighting to people in one night is still legendary, and I have to give him props for that. Number 2 for me is Slim. The reason why I put him over KSI is because he was the underdog of his fight against FaZe Temper, and the way he just pieced Temper up and just knocked him out was just amazing to watch. Number 1 for me is Salt Pappy. I think he was incredible in this fight, even though it didn't last that long, only a 30-second fight. And Salt Pappy just knocked out Andy Varsky. Was amazing to watch. It was also so clean. Thank you for watching this video. I will be recapping all of the Misfits events to lead up to the Prime card, so stay tuned.